Hi, my name is Christine Latham, and for my creative project, I've chosen to focus on the Cheval industry in the European Union. As you may know, Cheval is the technical term for horse meat, and I chose this topic because it's extremely controversial here in the US. I myself am majoring in equine science, so I wanted to delve into the true nature of the industry in a place where production and consumption of Cheval is somewhat normalized. You'll notice that for the creative portion of my project, I used a recipe for cheval, and even though I couldn't purchase horse meat, I used beef to replicate the dish as closely as I could. The actual video of the recipe is playing at the top left-hand corner of the screen, and the full recipe is included at the end of this PowerPoint. The production and consumption of cheval in the US is highly controversial because as a country we largely view horses as companion animals rather than livestock. Because of this, governmental regulations for antibiotics, anti-inflammatories, and many other pharmaceuticals isn't as closely monitored as it would be for other livestock animals like beef and swine. However, there's currently a push to refund the inspection of horse meat processing, which would cause the equine industry and the federal government to completely rearrange their thinking in terms of how horses can be treated for illnesses and injuries if they're to be used for human consumption. Essentially, the government would need to decide what pharmaceuticals would be safe if consumed by humans in cheval, and how they're going to inspect the meat to make sure it's safe and healthy. In the European Union, where consumption of horse meat is a bit more normalized, we see an appreciable industry centered around the production, consumption, and import of cheval. Almost half of the horses processed for meat are rendered in Italy, with several other countries, including Poland, Spain, France, Belgium, Germany, Sweden, and the Netherlands, producing most of the other half. The large proportion of horse meat produced in Italy may stem from the fact that Italians have a strong preference for locally butchered, fresh meat, so there's a big demand for processing plant production there. Additionally, import of horse meat is a big part of the economy and is actually a multi-million-dollar industry for the European Union. The EU mainly imports from Canada, Argentina, Brazil, Mexico, and Uruguay, and also imports smaller quantities from the other countries listed on the page. And it has very stringent regulations on the production methods employed in processing plants overseas to make sure that the horses are killed in a humane way and that the meat is safe for consumption. Consumption of horse meat is common in the EU both as a delicacy in fine restaurants and as a staple in some countries like Italy and Germany. And all biases aside, and notwithstanding personal feelings about whether a horse should be classified as a companion animal or livestock, there's no denying that cheval is an important part of the agricultural industry in the EU and has the potential to be important to the economy in the US as well. Getting back to our roast, I'd like to thank Chevaline Humane Equine Products for the recipe. This roast was truly delicious, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to get an idea for what goes into making a good cheval roast. Thanks for listening, and feel free to watch the rest of the recipe if you're interested in making it at home sometime. I've also attached the recipe and the PowerPoint to this discussion for those of you who'd like to do some more exploring.